Happy Monday, everybody! A start of a new week, and we're starting it off with a rolling bang, uh, entire fireworks display of notoriety. Like I want attention. I want to be heard. I want to not die and be forgotten. So what am I on about? Well, it's been a daily thing now, a daily thing that the safety of women have has been compromised. Have been, has been, is going to be, future tense, present tense, past tense. Oh, dude, like, and we all have to reach deep down in our hearts and thank the Muslims, the Sikhs, the pedophiles, the rapists, all of them, thank them, because they've given us the ability to basically procreate the human race. Because, and I went over this like scenario in my head over and over again, right? Where you get married to a woman, you have a kid by them, you raise your kid, whatever, and then you just see like the issues of like all these other women and their children like going through hardships and stuff. I was just like watching this YouTube video of this girl who got kidnapped by yet again another Uber driver, taxi cab driver. That's why, like, you see a lot of them, they're Middle Eastern or Sikhs and shit. It's like, even if they're not gonna like do it that night or they can't get away with it, like they fantasize about it until eventually they can't hold it in and they gotta rape. They gotta rape, dude. So this guy, right, thinks he's slick, pretends like, he put that he dropped her off in the app and then drives her to a secluded place to like rape her and shit, and then the dad tracks them down and throws the guy a beating. And you should see him in the courtroom. It's like, oh my god. And the reason why I bring this story up is because not only is it fucked up that this guy's raping somebody else's kid, but he has his own kids. Now think about that for a second. How are you going to be doing that, knowing that that shit could happen to you? And how would you feel if you were put in that situation? Oh my god, my daughter, she got hurt. She was like sexually assaulted by this like stranger and shit. She can't trust them. Like they were taking a taxi cab, an Uber drive home, and now like she can't trust anybody. She's always crying and shit. Like what the fuck? But then like you think about like the cultural normalcy of rape, right? Like the fact that the UK is going to be grappling with this court case for like probably years now, because like you just can't get like 500 cops to like bust down a compound that's like kidnapping, trafficking women back to Pakistan, back to Punjab and shit. Like every single time you see Pakistanis and Punjabis brag about their white features, remember that those white features were from raped white slaves, white victims of theirs. Okay? Every single time. They don't have, because you have to understand, like, the genetic heredity, right? In India, like, the the idea of somebody having green eyes is so super rare. It's like, one in basically almost a billion, right? Because, look at the population, right? Like, how many Indians do you see having, like, green eyes and shit? Like, it's not unheard of and stuff, right? And then, well, I think blue eyes, I think it's exclusively to the Caucasians, though I could be wrong about that. It's like my grandma has like, blue rings around her eyes and stuff, but I think that's because she's like old and shit. But like, the fact that like we're starting to see the unbecoming of like this culture that has embellished this beauty standards, unrealistic beauty standard for the majority of the people in India and shit, right? And then you see like the fucking subsequent like monkey slave dance of these fucking Pakis and shit who are like dark skinned who are trying to like throw it up for this like white skin beauty standard, like the whole Bollywood aspect. And like I was caught up in the allure of it and shit too. Oh, these girls are hot, but like I never thought about like the damage it's gonna be doing to my people and all that shit, right, over the years, and why I had to like leave my religion behind, because it's like you can't have that level of mercy and then raise your own kids and expect them to be okay in life. Like, no, you're inviting like harm upon them, right? Like, it's bad enough that you have other religions out there who specifically rape your children because of your background, your race, your whatever, right? But it's worse when you have people who are part of your religion who also do that. That's right. They also do that, and they cover and they protect, the Pakistanis, the Punjabis, because they also want to rape kids. Yeah. So what we need to start doing, right, as men, um, we're gonna be replacing these guys, but we just can't be unappealing to look at. And I know I'm probably one of the most. I'm not gonna put, downplay it though. I'm pretty attractive-ish, I guess. I don't know how women think. I can only assume, right? And I only bring that up as an aside because you got to go out there, you got to work out, you got to maintain a high level of hygienical aptitude. You can't slack on it. So get your deodorant game up, get your cologne game up, get special kinds of and you'll oftentimes you'll get these deodorants like you know what I mean, like the like as it comes in like a cylinder. It's like a little like perfume-esque deodorant stick type thing that you usually get with cologne packages. So you get like the aftershave, the cologne, and then maybe the deodorant stick or some shit like that. If not, just order it separately, like just buy it separately. It's like 25-30 bucks now. Like, yeah, it's super expensive, but like you just use that when you go on dates and shit, and then win, because you're going up against like the fucking guys who not only not want to do this, but they've been so left out of the loop that by the time they try to catch up with it, like it's just lame, right? And you already fucking lapped them like several times. Like, get out there. I know, like back in the day, dude, this was so annoying for me too as well, because it's like you have like a bunch of people. By the way, like the bay's closed down. There's no more the Bay, the Hudson Bay Company is closed down. So like all those fucking annoying ass people when I'm trying to buy cologne and shit, trying to like just fuck with you and shit. It's like, okay, cool. You don't got a job no more, fucking retard. Dude, good riddance. But like, yeah, get out there. Like, Shoppers Drug Mart has cologne, and like, not saying like go in there and skunk up the place or use that as your like well, if you're if you don't got the money, you don't got your money up, it's no shame. I used to do that shit too. It's all good in the hood, right? Just don't do it all the time, right? Is what I'm saying. But like, and also like respect your body, like your limitations, and don't like go down the path that I did, thinking that like energy, protein, calories, carbohydrates, they just come out of nothing, nowhere and shit. Like, respect their origin, respect where they come from. Chicken, um, certain kinds of fish, like a lot of fish is actually kind of good, but like certain kinds of fish is like, more on the fatty side. Lamb especially. Lamb was the fucking thing that fucked me over my whole life. It feminized me, made me fat in my fucking thighs and legs. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it'll like, I guess, slow down your aging and shit. But it's like, it's a softer meat than the actual sheep or goat or whatever. So it's just like, I don't fucking like it anymore. I hate it. It's like, fuck it. Just don't be eating any like soft meat, man. Don't be eating like, you can eat eggs, you can like the foundational proteins and shit, but like you just ease up with the chicken, ease up with like the whole idea that like all kinds of protein are the same and shit, and like supplement with whey, supplement with like dairy protein, like a little bit of ice cream, I guess, goes a long way, because you just can't like keep eating this dehydrated shit that like you just you get it in a bottle, you mix it with fucking whatever water, and then drink, and then you gotta drink like I'm drinking like glasses of water right now because I had to like drink a bunch of like pre-workout and shit. But like, yeah, and I'm telling you this because you're gonna be going to war with like guys who not only are fucking genetically and mentally weak, but they know this and they carry weapons on them. They operate in packs, and they all oftentimes jerk off together. It's a weird phenomena that like it's new to me. I think it's pretty much new to anybody who's like grown up in North America and Europe and shit. That men would jerk off together. Like that's something that you consider abnormal behavior, but like I don't know what to say, man. Like come to expect it, and like how do I know this? It's just like how do you have guys right just chilling outside a fucking ass building, waiting for girls to come through so that they can fucking sexually assault them and rape them and shit. I'm fucking jerking it, man. And you see like certain videos. I actually kind of want to share one, but it's like on Rumble. So most likely, if I link it, my channel's gonna get banned or some shit like that. It's like linking some like graphic ass content. You see this Sikh guy, and he's just like has his hands on his dick. And he's like walking like through the streets of London. And some guy like pulls out his phone, starts filming. It's like, yo, what the fuck are you doing? He's like, huh? Put your fucking stop jerking off. Put your hands back in your pocket. Stop fucking. I don't want to see your fucking penis and shit. And he has his hand on his penis like jerking it and shit. Full on turban, old ass man too, eh? Old ass man. And you think like it's just like a one off thing and shit, right? I was just like watching this guy roll through the fucking streets of Pakistan and Punjab. It's just like he's walking by this guy, and this guy just like takes his shit right next to him and stuff. Like, oh, these people are fucking gutter, man. And when you out there replacing up them like peoples and shit, they're like, yo, their women are gonna be coming your way and stuff. But like, yo, you can't fucking, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? You can't pretend that like it's all good. They got to fucking warp for you, man, because this thing that's part of their race is something that is both genetic and like a fucking mental disposition and shit. So you got to be up on your game and stuff. And like I said, and I'll never stop saying this is that if you're with a woman, right, and she doesn't want you to do this shit, just listen to her. Okay? Like you don't need to be taking these problems on and maybe she thinks or whatever. She's like, likes you whatever in that way where she just wants you exclusively to herself or she just thinks that like, it's a mistake for you to like go out there and like, whatever because like it or not, girls decide the human race. Women are the benefactors of evolution, not men. Men are people who deliver, genes, and every single thing that society has given to men as importance is nothing more than social fabric created to facilitate the ego of men and therefore utilize their function. Like if you didn't feel like a man, would you want to go to work? If you didn't feel like a man, would you like, whatever, right? And this perverse idea of manhood, which is more or less a folly because we all know that like guys cheat, they take steroids, they like insider trading. And like this isn't like well it's mostly a guy thing, but I'm not saying like it's exclusive to the male gender, but it's like it's very much a mark on our history, right? So let's take for the world wars, for example, in Vietnam and the Gulf War and the Iraq War, and when you put them all together, you kind of realize that even though at the surface these wars have meaning and purpose. Oh, okay, we have to stop bad person from doing bad things, but then bad people were on both sides doing bad things, not only to the other side but to their own people. And a lot of the times, right, those bad people got to stay alive. Like, as much as, like, I think, Russians are, they're kind of a lost cause and shit. Like, if it wasn't for Russia, Hitler would have won. Like, it took, like, I think 6 million plus Russian men, soldiers, to, like, rush the Blitzkrieg, right? Mind you, like, Germany was being a dumbass and decided to fight Russia in the winter. I mean, yeah, I'm sure it's cold up in Germany and shit, but like, it was next gen, like freezing to death in fucking Russia and shit, dude. But like I said, like if the Russians didn't throw down in World War II, we'd be all fucked right now, okay? But then like ask yourself, right? Because of communism, because of like, the methods of control that the government had on its people and shit. What happened to the diaspora of Russia right now? Well, ethnically speaking, you probably have something like 40-50% Russian, and then the rest from like, outside countries, the Tatarstans, Kazakhstans, whatever, right? It's no longer Russia. So when you're dealing with like, people talking about like, Putin saying that like, we value our Muslims and shit in our country and shit, like Russia's gone, dude. Right? Like when you look at like all these like Islamic groups and shit, what kind of weapons are they holding up? AK-47s, Russian made, devices, assault weapons and shit. And all to like kill, Christendom, the children of Christendom, Jews, Hindus, Buddhists, everybody who's not Muslim. So where do we go from there? Well, Russia's a lost cause. Ukraine's a lost cause. Um, a lot of European countries that wants to take in an unreasonable amount of refugees and immigrants are a lost cause. So we step up to the plate and prevent, you know, even if it's just one man from having a kid. I would prefer, having three wives just to make sure I get two other men to prevent them from having kids. And like, you think this is crazy, but like, you see how the world is playing out right now. You get your money up, you work out, you look good, then you talk to your wife, the missus, she'll be like, either thrilled about the idea, and you gotta listen to her because it's the way it is, right? And these fucking dickweeds are just gonna have to like jerk off to the same kitty ass porn that like, terabytes of fucking porn on D4V, that David artist dude who like fucking killed a little girl and like put the body in his Tesla. Fucking hell, man. I mean, I hate people who drive Teslas now. I think they're all fucking douchebags. I used to like kind of like Elon Musk, and he went against. The man. And it's kind of weird how like everybody hates on Trump the same way they hate on masculine men. And like, yeah, Trump made his mistakes. Nobody's fucking perfect. I made my mistakes. He made his mistakes. But like, the fact that he can't escape his mistakes, like people always have to point that out, should tell you everything you need to know about like weak people and strong people. Is that weak people will try to find the vulnerabilities of people who have none. All strong people, they don't care about the vulnerabilities of others because they don't care. Like, why should I care about like weak people when I have to go out there and I have to raise kids and I have to like, make video games for a living and I have to like provide for them and all that shit. Like, a part of me is actually kind of happy, dude, because like I used to kick myself a lot that like, oh my god, I'm not gonna be around in my kid's life. I'm too old. I'm gonna be like 40 something plus, and then like, whatever. But like, dude, I think like the worst thing possibly in my life that I could have ever experienced is what that man experienced with his daughter, with that Uber driver who raped her. That's probably the worst thing I could possibly ever experience in my life, and I thank God that like I don't have kids to like, feel that kind of pain because it's the necessity of proliferation, like, getting weapons, learning how to fight, going in large groups when you're with women and shit, and preventing other men, other weak men who, vote a certain way, who are embellished in a government that, like, turns a blind eye to the suffering of women. And, like, nothing that they say is going to change that fact. The women are on our side. And if they're not, then they're against themselves. And I'm not here to well, I guess I kind of am patronizing them by saying that. I apologize in that regard if I come off as insensitive, but it's a sign of the times that we're living in right now. Like I just can't say that without like, actually having a little bit of like, emphasis on the truth of it and just like, think to myself that like maybe I was wrong. I'm not. I kind of want to be. Just think about it. Work out. And remember, if she doesn't want you to do it, you don't have to. I'm kind of like, okay with that too, but you gotta think about other people. You gotta think about the world. Alright? Take care, everybody. And remember, work out.